everyone. Welcome to Second Saturday, Food Edition. My name is Mr. Aldo, and today we're coming to you live from the Harold Washington Library Center in downtown Chicago. Thanks so much for joining us. We have an amazing and super yummy show for you today. I just wanted to go over the schedule really quick of all the awesome events that we have planned. So as you can see on the screen, we're going to start today off with a story time from Miss Daisy and Miss Janet. Then we're going to learn how to make vegetable prints with Mr. John. And we'll be then joined by special guest Kids Table. I'm super excited about that. They're going to show us how to make a super yummy recipe. Then we'll learn how to do bread painting with Miss Katrine. Miss Evelyn will show us how to sign some words that are related to food. And then Miss Alejandra from the STEAM team will show us how to make our very own ice cream. Miss Liv will also join us to show us some food-related books, and then at the end, we'll play an interactive food game. So if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please feel free to comment throughout the show and interact with us. We will post your comments throughout the day, so you can see them up on the screen. And I'm going to kick it over to Miss Daisy in a bit. I just wanted to show you a quick activity that you can do at home. Maybe you have some candy or marshmallows left over from Halloween or all the bonfires that we've been having. But you can use these marshmallows and toothpicks to build a different structure. So I'm going to work on this throughout the day. When you come back to me, hopefully I'll have a taller structure if I don't eat all the marshmallows, but we shall see. But right now I'm going to send it over to my buddy, Miss Daisy, who's going to read us a very special food-related story. So it over to Miss Daisy. Hey, Miss Daisy.
Thank you, Aldo. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. So as Mr. Aldo mentioned, I'm Miss Daisy, and I work here at the Harold Washington Library at the Thomas Hughes Children's Center. So before we get started with our story, let's go ahead and do a little hello song. So this is a clapping song. So if you can just go ahead and clap your hand and your knees or your thighs, or you can just clap your hands as well if you like. All right, so this is bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as quiet as we can. Hello. Great job. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as loud as we can. Ready? Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as slow as we can. Hello. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as fast as you can. Hello. Can you do it faster? All right. Bread and butter, marmalade and jam. Let's say hello as nice as we can. Hello, everyone. Great job. All right, we are going to go ahead and get ready to read our story. And today I am reading with permission from Simon & Schuster Publishing Company. And the book that we are sharing today is titled Gladys Goes Out to Lunch, written and illustrated by Derek Anderson. And Gladys is our purple gorilla here. All right. Look at all of those bananas. Yummy. Gladys loved bananas. She ate bananas for breakfast, bananas for lunch, and more bananas for dinner. Can you imagine having all of those bananas? One day, the most delicious smell came drifting through the zoo. It smelled even better than bananas, so Gladys went out for lunch. Ooh, what could smell better than bananas to Gladys? Let's find out. She couldn't wait to taste what was making that deliciously sweet scent, so she followed it all the way to a pizzeria. Look at all of those pizzas. There were pizzas with pepperoni, pesto, and even pineapple. Gladys tried them all, but pizza wasn't what she smelled. What could it be? When she found the sweet scent again, Gladys snooted, wiggled her toes, and followed it all the way down the street to a fancy French cafe, Pierre's Cafe. This had to be where the smell was coming from. There were frog legs, fried snails, and a frozen moose. Gladys tried them all, but fancy French food wasn't what she had smelled either. Gladys was glad because there wasn't enough food on the table anyway. There goes that frozen moose. When she kicked the sweet scent again, Gladys snorted, kicked up her heels, and followed it around the corner to an ice cream stand. Wow, have you ever had an ice cream cone with, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scoops of ice cream? Whoa. Gladys hoped the smell was coming from here. There were 15 flavors of ice cream in 15 different colors. Gladys tried them all, but ice cream wasn't what she smelled. Gladys was tired and her tummy was nearly full. Until she smelled that deliciously sweet scent one more time. Gladys knew she was close. She smiled, licked her lips, and followed it around the block to the back entrance of the zoo. She sniffed all the way to a little food cart and found just what she was looking for. Banana bread. Oh, that sweet smell. Gladys ate the whole loaf by herself. It was the warmest, sweetest lunch she'd ever tasted. But there was something missing. What could be missing? Her favorite dessert, bananas. And that's the story of Gladys Goes Out to Lunch. And at the end, the author included a simple recipe for you to try to make your own banana bread at home. The end. All right. So now that Gladys went out to lunch, how about we have our own little picnic? I've set up here a delicious salad with all of my favorite ingredients. We've got some leafy greens, some tomatoes, some shredded carrots, and mushrooms. Then for dessert, we can enjoy a slice of cake with sprinkles, and we've got some pepper in case we need to add a little flavor to our salad. But look what has joined our picnic, these hungry ants. Let's count to see how many hungry ants we have. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 hungry ants. So you can go ahead and put your hand like this if you'd like, or you can pretend to march because these 5 hungry ants are going to start marching into our food. Ready? 5 hungry ants marching in a line came upon a picnic where they could dine. They marched into the salad. They marched into the cake. They marched into the pepper. Uh-oh, that was a mistake. Ha, ha, choo. How many hungry ants do we have left? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 hungry ants marching in a line. They came upon a picnic where they could dine. They marched into the salad. They marched into the cake. Uh-oh, they marched into the pepper. That was a mistake. Ha, ha, choo. Now we have 3 hungry ants marching in a line. They came upon a picnic where they could dine. They marched into the salad. They marched into the cake. They marched into the pepper. Uh-oh, what a mistake. Ha, ha, choo. We have 1, 2. 2 hungry ants marching in a line. They came upon a picnic where they could dine. They marched into the salad. They marched into the cake. They marched into the pepper. Uh-oh, that was a mistake. Ha, ha, choo. Woo. How many hungry ants do we have left? That's right, just 1. 1 hungry ant marched into a line, came upon a picnic where it could dine. It marched into the salad. It marched into the cake. It marched into the pepper. Uh-oh, what a huge mistake. Achoo! How many hungry ants do we have left? 0, that's right, none. All right, and that is our picnic. Now, if you have a little scarf at home or anything that you can swing in the air. We're gonna do another quick little rhyme, and this one is popcorn kernels. So if you have a scarf, go ahead and swing it up high. All right. Popcorn kernels in the pots, in the pot. Shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them till they pop, till they pop. Let's try it one more time. Ready? Popcorn kernels in the pots, in the pot. Shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them, shake them till they pop, till they pop. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and send it over to Miss Janet at the West Belmont branch now. Thank you.
Hi, it's Miss Janet from the West Belmont Library, and I'm delighted to be a part of the second Saturday. So it's nice to see you all. We're talking about food today, and what a wonderful topic. It makes me hungry though, so I have got a really fun rhyme about a guy named Flip Flap Jack, and he always makes me a little hungry. But he's actually, it goes like this. When I say Flip Flap Jack, you're gonna go Flip Flap Jack. And it goes like this. There was a man named made out of food, made out of food, made out of food. There was a man made out of food, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his head was a pancake, a pancake, a pancake. His head was a pancake, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his eyes were blueberries, blueberries, blueberries. His eyes were blueberries, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his nose was a strawberry, a strawberry, a strawberry. His nose was a strawberry, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his mouth was a sausage, a sausage, a sausage. His mouth was a sausage, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his ears were two oranges, two oranges, two oranges. His ears were two oranges, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his body was a waffle, a waffle, a waffle. His body was a waffle, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his arms were bananas, bananas, bananas. His arms were bananas, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his legs were bacon, were bacon, were bacon. His legs were bacon, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his feet were French toast, French toast, French toast. His feet were French toast, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. And his belly button was a raspberry. Does that make you want to do that? A raspberry, a raspberry. And his belly button was a raspberry, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. He was made of food. There was a man made out of food, made out of food, made out of food. There was a man made out of food, and his name was Flip Flap Jack. I hope that makes you very hungry. It certainly does for me. So I have a story today, and this is one that it's an old folk tale, and Paul Galdone wrote the version that I know best. It was published by Clarion way back in the 70s, but it's really a good old tale. It's about a little girl who lived a long, long time ago with her mother. They lived at the end of a village with just one long street through the village, and sometimes they didn't have enough food. Yeah. And when they were out of food and the cupboards were bare, the little girl would go into the forest that was back behind her house, and she could search up for things that she had learned that they could eat. So there would be berries or nuts or different kinds of green and growing things there that she could eat. But one day, when they were out of food, she went out into the woods to look for things that she could gather that they could have. and she was really hungry, and she was not finding anything. It was just brown leaves blowing through that cold gray day. And she got so sad and she was so hungry. She sat down on a log and she began to cry. And she said to herself, "Oh no, what will I do? We're so hungry, Mother and I." And she heard a little voice that said, "Cheer up, little girl." She looked up, and there before her was an old woman. She had crinkly old skin, and she was leaning on a crookedy old stick, and she pulled out from under her coat a pot. And she said, "Take this, little girl, and you will never be hungry again. This is a magic porridge pot. All you must do is put it on the fire and say to it, 'Boil, little pot, boil.' And the little pot will boil up a nice bowl of porridge for you." Now, porridge is what we would call oatmeal nowadays, but they called it porridge back then, and in lots of the old tales, right? So the old woman said, "Now you must also remember the magic words to end the porridge serving. So you have to learn how to say, 'Stop, little pot, stop.' And you would never be hungry again." So the little girl took the pot and she said, "Oh, thank you so much." And she looked down at the pot, and when she looked up again, the old woman was gone. So she called out to the forest, "Thank you." And she ran home as fast as she could, carrying the pot close to her, so excited to put it on their hearth, which is their fireplace, and it had a hook so they could hang the pot and try it out. So she got home, and her mother, of course, right away said, "What do you have there?" And she said, "It's a magic porridge pot. I met an old woman in the forest and she gave it to me. Let's try it." So she put it on over their fire, and she said to the pot, "Boil, little pot, boil." And the little pot began to bubble up a fragrant, delicious smelling porridge. And the little girl and her mother both had a nice bowlful, and they were so hungry they had another bowlful, and it was delicious. And they weren't hungry anymore. And then the little girl remembered to say, "Stop, little pot, stop." And the pot stopped boiling. And while they got other foods, when times were good, they could always depend on the little pot when their cupboards were bare. And so they did not go hungry again. Well, it was winter and there wasn't a lot to collect in the woods. So they were using the pot pretty often, but they were doing great. And one day the little girl asked to go play down at the other end of the village where she had a friend. And her mother said, "Certainly, go on." And so she went down to play, and her mother waited through the morning, and then it was getting into the afternoon, and she was hungry. And she knew just what to do. So she put the pot on the fire, right? And she said to it, "Boil, little pot, boil." Well, the pot boiled up a nice bunch of porridge, and the old woman took that porridge and she had herself a nice bowlful and was quite satisfied. But the little pot was still boiling. And the old woman said, "Oh, halt, little pot, halt." Well, that made the pot boil faster. And so that more porridge was coming up out of the pot, so much so that it started to spill over the edge of the pot and down onto the hearth, and it started creeping out onto the floor. And the woman said, "No, enough, little pot, enough." But the pot was boiling even faster now, and it was spreading across the floor like a river of porridge. And the old woman ran to the door to open it to let the porridge out, going, "No more, little pot, no more." But the pot only boiled faster, and she ran out the door and she was screaming, "Cease, little pot, cease." But the little pot just kept boiling and boiling and boiling. And the mother ran down to the village street as fast as she could with the river of porridge following her. And she got to where her daughter was, and she knocked on the door and she said, "Help, help, the little pot keeps boiling, boiling, boiling." Well, the little girl knew exactly what was wrong, and she opened the door, very surprised to see a river of porridge coming down their street. So she picked up her skirts and she marched and ran as much as she could through that river of porridge. And she got near the door and she remembered the magic words, of course. And shall you help me say it? We're going to have to say it 4 times because the mother said it wrong 4 times. So let's try it. Stop, little pot, stop. Stop, little pot, stop. Stop, little pot, stop. Stop, little pot, stop. And the magic porridge pot stopped boiling. Whew. But meanwhile, there was a river of porridge down their village street. Well, people came out of their houses. They brought cups and dippers and more dippers and spoons and bowls and plates. They bought everything they could think of. They even brought pitchers, and they filled them up and dipped them up and spooned them up, and they got all sorts of utensils and got that porridge up off the street. And they had delicious porridge that lasted for days and days. And of course, everyone was delighted because it was winter and everybody was kind of hungry, right? And so they were so happy to have a magic porridge pot in their village. And they all knew the magic words, boil, little pot, boil. But no one ever forgot the other magic words. Can you say them with me? Stop, little pot, stop. And that's the story of the magic porridge pot. So that's a good one. How about we stir some porridge, okay? We can stir like this, or we can stir like this. Do that. Stir the porridge in the pot. Now it's getting really hot. Stir it fast, really fast. Stir it slow, really slow. Stir it high, stir it low. It's still hot. Now let's blow. Cool it off. Okay, stir it slow like you think you should. I think it's done. Porridge is good. So let's stir some more porridge. Let's go. Stir, stir, stir the porridge. Stir it all day long. Add some. What should we add? How about some berries? Berries sound good. Okay, so add some berries. What about some butter? Let's put some butter in there. How about some syrup? Oh, brown sugar. Let's put a lot of that in there. Put some bananas in there. Some carrots? Well, whatever you like in your porridge or oatmeal. Have some of that. Okay. Take a taste. Porridge will make us strong. So I hope you enjoyed those stories, and I'll see you at the West Belmont Library or on second Saturdays. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks so much, Ms. Janet. Mr. John, I love those that story you shared and those songs. That was super fun. All this talk about food is making me so hungry. You know, I love food. Something else I also love are jokes. So what's even better than combining food and jokes? Fortunately, I have a buddy named Teddy who's going to join me for a really funny joke right now. Teddy?
Why did the banana go to the doctor? Because it wasn't healing well.
That was really funny, Teddy. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. You know, we're actually always looking for kids to contribute to our Second Saturday program. So if you ever are interested in possibly sending us a joke or joining us live here on Second Saturdays, please reach out to us at cplkids@shipublib.org. We're looking for kids to possibly join us for next month in December for some singing and dancing. We're going to have some really great times next month. So we hope some of you will be interested in joining us. I actually have some jokes too that I'd like to share with you guys. What do you get when you cross an elephant with a potato? Mashed potatoes. And do you guys know what you call little baby potatoes? Tater tots. You know, speaking of potatoes, potatoes are not just good for the punchlines of jokes. With potatoes, you can actually do some really cool art projects. So I just wanted to show you very quickly this cool art project I did using potatoes. So basically, if you ever have like a potato, you can ask your grown-up to help you cut a shape into this. As you can see here, I cut out a triangle. And here on this one, I cut out a square. And I didn't just use potatoes for my art project. I actually used a carrot. Carrots are perfect for circles. And basically, once you cut out your little shape into your potato, dip it into some paint, and then you can use it to create patterns on some paper. And here, this is all done with vegetables. So food is awesome for eating, but you can also use different types of food to make artwork. And of course, food is amazing for creating delicious recipes. So I actually have a friend who's going to join us right now. Elena, are you there?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. Hey, Elena. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Elena is joining us from a wonderful organization here in Chicago called the Kids Table. What do you have in store for us today, Elena?
Okay, so we're gonna do some stirring. I saw you guys doing a lot of porridge stirring, so you can stir along with me now too, whether it's with your own ingredients or pretend. I'm making apple pie dip. So
Awesome.
basically it's like a sweet snack, but not so sweet that you can't feel good about eating it. So it's like a sweet treat that we can enjoy often, really, if you'd like. So we've got all those warm fall spices like cinnamon and nutmeg that we're going to be putting in. So, of course, I wash my hands. If you're cooking with me, please make sure that you wash your hands because that's the first step of cooking, always. Next, I've got my base for my dip, which is some cream cheese. Okay, so I have this nice and soft. If you don't have time to leave your cream cheese out to soften, you can always put it in the microwave for a little bit to get it soft enough so that you can stir it, okay? So that's just 4 ounces of cream cheese. Now I'm gonna add a little Greek yogurt, okay? Just 2 tablespoons. So I've got a little bowl of yogurt right here, and I've got a little spreader to help me get it out of my tablespoon because yogurt's kind of goopy. So I'm gonna put my yogurt, 2 tablespoons in with my cream cheese. This is gonna help thin it out a little bit. And then we're gonna add our sweetness. So we're gonna add a little bit of sugar. Okay, so I've got 2 tablespoons of yogurt mixed in with my 4 ounces of cream cheese. Put that off to the side. And I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right. So, by the way, I wonder if anybody knows how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon. It's a fun little kitchen fact. 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon. So if I didn't have a tablespoon measure, instead of 1 tablespoon plus a teaspoon, I could do 4 teaspoons. Okay, so now I've got 4 ounces of cream cheese plus 2 tablespoons of yogurt and 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of sugar. All right, now I'm gonna add a couple things for additional flavor. We've got our creaminess, we've got our sweetness. I'm gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract right here. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of molasses. So this isn't really a joke at all, but does anybody know what you get when you cross sugar with molasses? This is just a food fact. Brown sugar. What? You can make your own brown sugar with sugar and molasses. All right. So I've got my 4 ounces of cream cheese. I like to review a lot what I have in my bowl because that way, you know, if anybody's following along, you can double check you have everything. And I'm also double checking that I have everything. I have my recipe right here just in case. I've got 4 ounces of softened cream cheese in my bowl. And I have 2 tablespoons of yogurt. And I have 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of sugar. And I have a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/2 teaspoon of molasses. I didn't smell my vanilla. It smells so good. You should always smell your ingredients okay? Don't blow out when you smell, blow in. Suck in with your nose, smell gently, gently. So now I'm gonna stir. Okay, so it's quite lumpy right now. So I'm gonna put a little muscle into it. I've got my spoon in my right hand. That's the hand I like to color with or draw with, and I'm holding my bowl in my other hand. And I'm just gonna stir. And it takes a little bit of time and muscle to get it creamy. So you guys can stir along with me, just like our porridge, right? And from that awesome story from Miss Janet. Okay, it's slowly getting creamier. There's still a few lumps. But that's okay. I'm gonna show you what mine looks like. You can see it's getting smoother. Oh, there we go. Sorry, my light is really bright. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some more seasoning. So we've already added some ingredients for flavor, our vanilla and our molasses. We're gonna add some spices now. And we're gonna start with cinnamon. That's like my favorite fall spice. So I've got a little cup of cinnamon right here. I'm gonna smell it, but really gently because I don't wanna suck cinnamon up my nose. Oh, so good. All right, I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon. Got 1 teaspoon right here. And I just dumped it in. That's a lot of cinnamon. And let's see what's next. I'm gonna do some nutmeg. So nutmeg is a really strong spice. I'm gonna smell it gently. Oh my gosh, so good. We're gonna do a dash, which is really 1/8 of a teaspoon. A dash of nutmeg. Little dash of nutmeg. I cannot wait to taste this. Okay, I'm gonna stir it before I add my next. We have 2 more spices to add. And then believe it or not, our dip is done. And then we get to talk about what we're gonna dip in it. Okay. So this is getting, look at how the color has changed. It's kind of like a light brown now from those spices, the cinnamon and the nutmeg. It's getting nice and creamy. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we are going to add a little bit, just a few pinches. So we've done some stirring together, right? Now we can do some pinching. So for pinching, we use our pinching fingers, our forefinger and our thumb together. And I'm gonna do 3 pinches of ginger, ground ginger. 1, actually that was a really big pinch, maybe I'll do 2. 2, and you can kind of rub your finger and your thumb together to sprinkle. So that's my ginger, and I'm gonna do a few pinches of allspice. Okay, I didn't smell my ginger. Smells kind of lemony. So my allspice is in a bottle with a shaker top, right? It's got little holes on it. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit, you know, about the same as if I was using my pinching fingers. Okay, I think that's gonna be good. So now I'm gonna do a little bit more stirring here. Try to get it smooth. This is our apple pie dip. So what should we, there's no apples in here yet, right? So it definitely has the flavor of apple pie with all those spices or like pumpkin pie. But I thought we could dip some apples in our apple pie dip. This would also be really good on graham crackers or maybe like a cinnamon raisin bagel or even a sesame bagel. That sounds really good. Okay, so my dip is looking delicious. Okay, so now I feel like I should taste my dip before we finish up here. So I'm gonna, I have my apples. So I like to use Granny Smith apples for this. The green apple, they're kind of tart, which I like because it brings out, it like balances the sweetness in our dip. So I cut the core out of my apple and I put it in water so it wouldn't get brown, right? And now I'm gonna just use this nifty chopping tool. This is great for kids if they're not ready for knives yet. And I'm gonna just cut a couple slices of apple, okay? And these wavy cutters make really pretty crinkle cuts as well, right? Sorry, that light is really blinding. Okay, So I'm gonna just start with 4 pieces. I feel like I should taste my dip. Now, no double dipping, okay? If you're sharing your dip with someone else, you definitely don't wanna double dip. We don't wanna share germs, just the dip. I'm gonna break my apple slice in half, and I'm just gonna give this a taste. Mmm. Delicious. Okay, but we're not done yet. We have one more thing to do. So I thought it would be really fun if we, you know how when you get a caramel apple? Let me swallow my apple so I don't talk with my mouth full, right? That's not polite. Okay. You know how when you get a caramel apple, it's like a whole apple with caramel on the outside and like crushed peanuts or seeds or something stuck to the outside? So those are really good, but you know, they're got a lot of sugar. So they're not necessarily something you want to eat all the time. But with this snack, we're kind of making something similar to that that's a lot better for our body, right? Because that's what food's all about. It tastes good, which is important, but it's also about feeding our body, nourishing our body so we can have energy, right? And feel good and grow. So I just put some roasted, salted, these are sunflower seeds. I also have some pepitas, which are pumpkin seed kernels. And I put it in a little baggie so I can crush them up. And I'm just gonna use this rolling pin and gently, oops, I popped a hole in my baggie. That's kind of funny, the hazards. If you have a freezer bag, that's sturdier. Mine's just a little sandwich bag. So I just coarsely crushed my seeds. So what we're gonna do, I have a little plate. I'm gonna put, oops, there we go, perfect. There was a hole in my bag, it just came right out. So now I've got these crushed seeds on a plate and I made a bit of a mess, that's okay. Make sure to, I'll just sweep that up right there. So now what we do, and you can use nuts instead of seeds, right? I usually use seeds just because in case people have allergies to nuts and stuff, you can crush up peanuts for this, it'd be so good. Roasted salted is kind of key if you want that salty sweet thing going, which I really like. So then what you're gonna do is you can spread or dip, right? It's a little thick for just dipping, but I want a thin spread of my dip on my apple slices. And then you can roll it in your crushed salty seeds, right? And they stick. See? And now you have a delicious fresh apple slice with your yummy, sweet, delicious, creamy apple pie spice dip and some roasted seeds. And then you can try it. Mmm. Very tasty. Oh my goodness. Again, let me swallow. Okay, great. So that is our recipe for today. I hope that if you didn't get to make it right now, that maybe you have the ingredients. It's a very simple recipe and you can do it another time. As you can see, it comes together super fast, really delicious, fun seasonal snack. So please enjoy.
That looks so good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna, after the show's done today, I'm gonna go back and watch the video so I can do that at home. I'm really looking forward.
Yes.
I love the addition of the seeds at the end.
It's really nice. You get the texture and then the salt. It's delicious.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you again so much for joining us.
Thank you, John. It was so much fun.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye. So you guys saw earlier, I made a really cute art project using some food, my potatoes. We're actually going to be joined by my friend, Ms. Katrine, who's going to show us another really cool food-related art project. Ms. Katrine, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Thanks so much, Katrine.
You're welcome. I'm super excited to do a little activity with you right now. I'm Katrine from the Thomas Hughes Children's Library, and we are going to paint bread today. And the fun part about this is it's not only going to be super colorful, but we also get to eat our painted bread in the end. And this is a fun activity for preschoolers, but quite honestly, I also enjoy doing it, so pretty much anyone of any age. All right, so let's start with our materials. We need about 4 cups or glasses, whichever you have at home. Maybe one with water, so it's not going to get too messy. 4 spoons, some cotton swabs. If you have food-safe brushes at home, that's perfect. You can use those. And just for variety, you can also use those little pipettes here. And then we have the most important part, some food coloring. Feel free to use the gel food color or liquid food color, whichever you prefer. And some bread, milk, and our toaster. All right, so let's get started with the first part. We're gonna mix our milk with the food color. And if you wanna add just a little measuring activity, you can start by measuring half a cup of milk. And please feel free to use any milk you like. Soy milk, almond milk, regular milk, whichever you prefer. All right. But if you do not want to measure, you can also just eyeball it, whatever works best for you. And I'm just making sure that I'm not going to spill anything here. All right. And next we have our food color. I just chose those 4 ones, which is red, yellow, blue, and green. Feel free to give it, a good squeeze, maybe twice, so we get a really good deep color, especially for the yellow that needs a little more. Right, and some blue. And you don't have to use all of those if you only have a few at home. That's perfectly fine as well. Right, so let's mix them up. So we do have 4 colors now, but as we all know, we can also make more colors from that. For instance, if we're gonna mix the red with the yellow, we're gonna get orange, and so on. Think about other colors you might want to mix. And we're almost done here. Some blue. And last, some green. All right. So before we're going to start with the painting card, I already prepared a sample. I want to make sure that we get everything ready in time, so I'm going to put that in the toaster. All right, and we are going to start painting. And my idea for today is, how about we are painting the first letter of our first name. So for me, that's going to be a K. So I'm going to use this brush just for demonstration. You can also use the cotton swabs or the pipettes though. It might take you a little longer, but it's the absolute same result. And there is really no real rule for that. You can paint whatever you like. Just one thing, make sure that you don't get the toast too wet, too soggy, because it won't toast properly. And we really want to see those colors and make sure that we can still eat it. All right, so I'm gonna paint a K. That's my first letter of my first name. And let's just make sure that we're gonna make it a little more intense, the color, so we can see it in the end. And how about, just for fun, we're gonna add some dots here with our cotton swabs. Just all over, as many as you like. You can also make a little counting activity with that one. And some blue. Right, just one here. ready. Okay, and let's try our pipettes for the yellow. So you just squeeze it, comes up, and let's see if I can make this. Yeah, works as well, and it's another fun sensory tool to use. All right, now that this is done, maybe we can toast this in time as well. I'm going to show you the result. This is it, our toast. There are some more examples that you can do, just some ideas. You can make a really, really colorful one with all the colors you have or more. Like we said, we can mix them. You can write little messages and maybe even make a face and tons of other ideas you have. All right, and while we're at it, here are some book suggestions. For older kids, we have Bread Lab by Kim Benchevsky, where you learn about making bread and the science behind it. And this is our classic I Ain't Gonna Paint No More by Karen Beaumont. And this little feller here is painting a lot. I don't think he's painting bread, but you may get some great ideas from that. All right, so I suggest lastly, we're gonna taste our product. You can put some butter on it or honey or anything you like, but I'm just gonna taste it like this. Very, very nice. All right, thank you so much for making this activity with me today. I hope you're gonna come up with a lot of ideas. And I'm going to hand things over to Evelyn, who is going to teach us some food signs with American Sign Language. Thank you so much.
So good morning. So I'm Miss Evelyn. So I'm here from the Harold Washington Library. So today, as part of Second Saturday Food Edition, I'm going to be showing you some different food signs. So I'm going to be using the book, What's Your Favorite Food? By Eric, Carl, and friends. So who are his friends? Different authors and illustrators. And this book was published by Henry Holt and Company. So what's your favorite food? Let's see. Is it cheese? So if you take your two hands and just press that cheese. Is it cake? So we have two different signs. So we have cake or cake. And then what kind of cake? We have chocolate cake. Ramen, the Japanese dish. So you can have meat or fish with soup and noodles, egg, and maybe hot sauce. Spicy. Salad. So different vegetables. You take the V sign and on your chin, vegetable. So do you like vegetables? Hopefully, yeah. So some of the different vegetables, we have lettuce. So you take your hand, lettuce. We have tomato, or so you think red, and then you cut. We have broccoli, so green, and then cluster. So, and then carrot. So you can't really see on the page, but here, carrot. So, or you can grate it. Berry. So we have strawberry. So you have your F hand shape. Strawberry. We have blueberry. We have purple berry. Is your favorite food French fry? So you have a French fry. So what are French fries made out of? Potato. Yeah, potato. Then we have paella. So what's in there? Many different things. So we have different fish, lemon, onion, bean. So many different food. Here we have chicken Alfredo with broccoli. Is your favorite food pizza? So we have two different kinds. So we have with the double Z, or then you fold up your pizza and then you eat it. So pizza. I love pizza with lots of cheese. Then we have matzo ball soup. And last but not least, ice cream. Different kinds of ice cream. So we have here chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. So when do you like to eat ice cream? In the fall, winter, spring, summer? Ice cream is always a good idea. Ice cream is my favorite food. And so some other food that we're going to be covering today. Marshmallow. So we have two different kinds. So you think marshmallow is like stretchy. Marshmallow. Apple. So you bend your finger on the corner, so you have apple. Pie. So you think about you cutting the pie. Then we have bread. And again, you're going to think about you cutting the bread. And last but not least, but again, carrot. Or you think that you're peeling, grated the carrot. Thank you.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome to Second Saturday. My name is Alejandra. I am a librarian at the Chicago Public Library in the group the STEAM team. And today we are going to talk about states of matter by making ice cream in a bag. So I'm really excited to present this to you. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of quick, and you can use this to experiment and use a lot of STEAM concepts at home in the kitchen. So this is my kitchen. And we are gonna get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about is what is matter? Because people talk about states of matter, depending on the age range. You know, your child might know, might not. But matter is a scientific word for basically stuff. So let's see, I'm wearing a ring. Ring is matter. A carrot is matter because it's stuff. Water is matter. So matter is just a very scientific, broad term for stuff. And there are 3 states of matter that we're going to talk about today that they talk about all the time. You might have heard this. They're solid, liquid, and a gas. So I made a little thing here to talk about solids, liquids, and gases. And the best way to talk about this is to use water as an example. So I'm going to start with a solid. So a solid is basically defined as it has a definite shape and size. So the best way to do this is an ice cube. An ice cube it's a square, it's a cube. You know it's a cube, it's just that size, and it's just that shape. So that's what a solid is. Another solid is, like I said, a carrot. Another solid could be like a chocolate chip that has like a definite shape and size. So that is a solid. Then next we're going to talk about liquid. Liquid, I think, is the easiest one to understand because it's a cup of water or it's a lake of water or anything that kind of flows. The reason the shape and size here is kind of like a maybe is because it can take the shape of the container that it's in. So if you pour any kind of liquid, so it's not, you can have water as the example, but also maple syrup, agave, soda, like anything like that is a liquid, and you pour it into a cup, it'll take the shape of a cup. You pour it into a mold of like a star, like say you want to make some ice cubes, it'll take the shape of a star. So that's why the shape, it kind of depends on its container. And then the size, so it has a size. Like if you pour water out, you can see it flow, and you can watch it because there isn't unlimited water when you pour it, right? So you can see there's only that amount. But since it takes up space, it can kind of spread out more. So the size kind of changes too. And last but not least, we have gas, which does not have a shape or a size. The best example for this is steam. So when you heat up water on your stove to make macaroni or spaghetti or anything like that that requires heating up water, you see the bubbles and then you see the steam come out on the top. So that is gas. So steam is gas. Another example that you might be familiar with is helium. So when you blow up a balloon and it just stays by itself, that is a gas. So these are the 3 states of matter that we're going to talk about today by doing our ice cream experiment. There's a 4th state of matter, and if you want to sound super smart, it's called plasma. And it's so complicated. It's like ionized gas, but there are some really cool examples of plasma. Lightning is an example of plasma. The sun, because it's a star, is an example of plasma. And even fluorescent lights have ionized gas in there. So that's just a fun extra 4th state of matter. But we're not going to make plasma today, just solid, liquid, and a gas. And the reason I have these little plus heat things is to change from one state of matter to the other. You either take away heat or you add heat. So if I have my solid ice cube and I add heat, what happens to ice when you add heat, when it gets hot? It melts, right? So it melts into a liquid. So that's why you added heat to the ice cube and it melted and it turned into a liquid. It turned into water. But if you take water and you add heat again, you go to the stove, you're adding the flames from the burner, it heats up and it turns into steam. Now, if you take water and you take away heat, that turns into ice. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. So, all right, the ingredients that you need to make your ice cream in a bag is, number 1, you need a big bag with a zipper on the top. That works really great because we're going to be shaking this bag, so you really need it to be closed. Then you're going to need a smaller bag. So it doesn't matter what size you buy as long as you get a smaller bag with the same enclosure that fits inside. So you need one big, one small, fits inside. And the same thing, this one for sure, you want to make sure that it will close tight because we're going to put our mixture in here. All right, so there's that. Then you're going to need, of course, star of the show, half and half. Half and half works best for this, but I have tried it with just plain milk. You can also use almond milk if you can't have like cow milk. You can use soy milk, whatever you need. It'll just be a little bit of a different consistency, but it should still work. But half and half does work the best. You're gonna need a cup of half and half. So you're also gonna need some measuring tools. So I have my cup for liquid, and then I have a tablespoon and a teaspoon. This is to measure out our next ingredients. Sorry. You're gonna need a cup of cream. So I'm just gonna actually pour it right now. Pour it into my container. Make sure I have a cup. There we go. So you're gonna need a cup of cream, those 2 bags. Then you're gonna need some sugar. So you're gonna take your tablespoon and you're gonna do 2 tablespoons of sugar. So I have mine right here. And this is such great STEAM concepts because this is all math. You guys can do this together. You can measure stuff out. And then you're gonna need a teaspoon. So I got my little teaspoon here of vanilla extract because we're gonna make vanilla ice cream today. Then you're gonna need 4 tablespoons. So the big one. You need 4 tablespoons of salt. I've done this experiment many times now, and I've used just regular tabletop salt. But today I'm going to use sea salt to see because apparently if you have the bigger grains, it works better. So I have this, but tabletop salt is totally fine. It works 100%. There, and you're going to want a towel or gloves because this is going to get very cold and we have to shake it. So you definitely want something to protect your hands with. And last but not least, you're going to need about 4 to 5, depending on your bag. My big bag requires about 5 cups of ice. So I'm going to take out my ice. Got a bag of ice right here. All right. The easiest way to do this is to use a cup to hold everything in. So you're going to take your small bag. Take your smaller bag, open it up, and I don't have a cup right now, but I have a beaker. That's what I'm gonna use. You're gonna take your bag, just fit it in so it's easier to pour the liquid in. Doesn't have to be beautiful or perfect. Alright, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna take your cup of cream, or half and half, or milk, whatever you have, and pour it in. There's that. Then you're going to take your sugar. Let me make sure this is my sugar. Yes, so your 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to pour that in too. Two tablespoons of sugar. Then you're going to take your 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So here's my teaspoon. Now, if you like vanilla, you can add more, but vanilla extract has a strong flavor, so I would stick to just about 1 teaspoon. All right, and at this point, this is good, it's ready to go. But if you wanted to experiment and you wanted to have fun, you can take some food coloring and you can add it in. So I'm gonna take some blue, a couple, to make some fun colored ice cream. Maybe a little bit of red. Maybe get a purple ice cream here. You can also add sprinkles, like I have sprinkles. You can add chocolate chips, whatever you want to add to your ice cream. You can do it at this point. But I'm just going to color mine. So let's just shake that up. All right, I have kind of like a purpley lilac a little bit. I think I might add, maybe I'll just make it a little more blue. so we can really see it. Okay. So I like a pastel blue. All right, so then what you want to do is you're going to take out your bag carefully. And you're going to want to make sure that all that sugar mixes. Just mix a little bit. Now you're going to want to squeeze out as much air as you can without tipping it. So squeeze out much air and then close it up. So if you want, you can go all the way kind of towards the edge and then just go like this to make sure, and then close very tight. All right. That should be good to go. I don't see any drips. Okay. Now you're going to take a big bag. And you're going to add your small bag in here. All right, now you're going to add your ice. Let me get my ice. So I have my little measuring cup, but really it's just enough to cover the small bag. So this is what it looks like. See, all my ice is covering the bag, both sides. And then you're going to add your salt to the ice. So that's why you really want to make sure your inner bag is closed tight, because if you get salt into this, it will not be good ice cream. I can guarantee that. So you just put the salt in. I just put it right on top. Okay. You're going to want to squeeze out the air as much as you can. So again, I kind of go almost towards the end, and then I squeeze out everything I can, and then close it up. All right, so here's the fun part. Take your towel or your gloves, hold it, and now you're gonna have to shake for about 7 to 10 minutes. So I'm gonna get my phone out so I can time this. And you're going to see the liquid inside is going to turn into ice cream. So, all right, you just start shaking. So that was about 7 minutes. If you need to shake longer, you can, but I want to show you what happens. So already you can kind of see my ice is pretty much melted, and my little bag that's inside is this bag right here. Not looking very liquid. So what state of matter was our little bag inside when we first started? It was a liquid, right? We had our half and half mixture with the sugar. And now, what state of matter is our bag? Pretty much a solid. So let's test it out. Let's see. Did we make ice cream? Let's see. Let me open the bag. Oh, we did. So this is like a soft serve ice cream. If you want it harder, once you're finished shaking it, you can put it in the freezer and it'll turn like harder. But look at this. We made ice cream. So I'm gonna taste it. It's so good. And you see it's kind of a little gray color because of my blue food coloring, but it's so good. So At the beginning, our mixture was a liquid, which is one of the states of matter. And then at the end, it turned into a solid. So remember what I said, in order to change from one state of matter to the other, you have to either add or reduce heat. So what we did is when we put the ice in the bag around it and we put the salt actually lowers the freezing temperature of ice, which causes it to melt. And that is all that energy, and it's taking away the heat from the bag of liquid, and that turned it into a solid. So this is a really fun experiment. It tastes great. You can also, again, test it out with the different kinds of milk. Maybe it'll taste different. It should taste the same, but have like a different consistency. But you know, if you add the chocolate chips, the food coloring, it's a super fun experiment, and it's great. You can redo it again and again, talk about the states of matter, and it's a great measuring activity too for even the little ones. So it's a really fun time. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching Second Saturday and being a part of our online community, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Bilal Cooks Doll, written by Aisha Saeed, illustrated by Anusha Syed. What's your favorite meal? Pizza? Sushi? Chicken nuggets? Bilal's favorite meal is dal. Today, Bilal and his friends Morgan and Elias are going to learn how to make chana dal with the help of Bilal's Abu. Hungry? Never fear. Abu shares his recipe at the end. Fry bread, a Native American family tradition, written by Kevin Noble Mallard, illustrated by Juana Martinez Neal. Food isn't just a tasty treat. For many people, food is a way to connect with their family, their community, and their heritage. In Fry Bread, author Kevin Noble Mallard, who is a member of the Seminole Nation Muskogee Band, explores the history of fry bread, a Native American staple food that varies across cultures, and he even shares his family recipe with you. Chef Roy Choi and the Street Food Remix, written by Jacqueline Martin Briggs and Junjo Lee, and illustrated by Man One. Roy Choi grew up making briny and tangy kimchi, spicy bibimbap, scallion pancakes studded with oysters. But what about tacos? Plenty of people think Korean guys can't do tacos, but Choi's Korean-Mexican fusion soon proves them wrong. Before long, Choi is serving outsiders, lowriders, kids, teens, shufflers, and skateboarders. Food cooked with care, with love, with sonmesh. This picture book biography will stoke your creative energy and your appetite. Steph Soto Taco Queen. Estefania Soto, Steph for short, on the other hand, wants nothing to do with food trucks. Why? Because she's in 7th grade and her papi still insists on driving her to school in Tia Perla, the family food truck that her ex-best friend, Julia Sandoval, says makes her smell like tacos. But when new city regulations threaten to shut down the food truck business altogether, Steph knows it's up to her to save Tia Perla and the family business. Steph Soto Taco Queen is available in English y Espanol. Pie in the Sky, written by Remy Lai. Making new friends is no piece of cake when you move to a country where you don't speak the language and the closest thing you have to a friend is a little brother. Homesick, Jing Wen turns to the recipe book his father created before he passed away. What if Jing Wen could make each of the cakes in the book? Would he feel closer to home? Would he make new friends? Would his little brother be any less annoying? This graphic novel hybrid is funny, heartfelt, and sweet as pie. And finally, if these book talks have left you feeling hungry or you're ready to take your cooking skills to the next level, be sure to check out Bake Like a Pro and the complete cookbook for young chefs for more recipes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Liv. You always have the best books for us. So we've been talking all about food today, but we also know that for some people it may be a little bit challenging to have all the food they need. So we did want to share this special resource. You'll see the URL down here below. So if you or anybody else you know may need some help finding some resources to provide food for them and their families, or anyone else they might know, please share this URL with them And I think that's a really good place for them to go to identify some locations where they might be able to get some additional food. We're coming to the close of our show, but I wanted to see if Mr. Aldo might be able to join us.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
Aldo, how's it going? Are you hungry?
I am. Look at how far I got with this here.
Whoa, that's awesome.
I know. I was tipping over, but I think I figured it out by adding a little base here at the bottom.
Are you going to eat that when we're done?
Yes. But yeah, let's bring in Miss Daisy and Miss Katrine as well.
Hi there.
Hey. So to close out Second Saturday, we always have a fun game. So I figured we'd just try this. And this is something that you can try at home if you're hanging out with your family, or you can also try it over at Zoom as well for relatives who can't come into your home at this moment. So it's a fun social distancing game that you can try. So I'm going to say a food, and then John is going to have to say another food that starts with the letter of the food that I said, what it ended with. So like if I say banana, John could say apple, and then we'll keep going around for a couple rounds to see how it goes. Because I feel like we're all pretty on top of things, so I don't think there won't be anybody who's going to struggle with this. So I'm going to start with sushi. Go ahead, John.
Sushi. How do you spell that? No, I'm kidding. That's S-U-S-H-I, right? Ice cream.
Go ahead.
Marmalade.
Egg rolls.
Ooh, I love that.
Spaghetti.
Another I. Ooh, I don't know. Ice. What else is there besides ice cream that starts with I? Icing. I'll just eat the icing straight off the cake.
Clever.
Green beans.
Healthy.
Did we say spaghetti already?
I
Yeah.
did.
Did. Oh,
Think about your flannel board, Daisy.
that's right.
Christina said soup.
Super strawberries. Yeah.
Ooh, so we'll do one more round. So strawberries would be S. Let's do steak.
Steak. Oh, you gave me a K. That's a hard one. What is there that starts with K that we eat? Somebody help me out. What's a food that starts with K?
Kiwi.
Kiwi. Oh, thank you.
Oh no, another
Another
I.
I.
Another I.
Iceberg lettuce. I'm healthy
Ooh.
today.
Oh,
Nice one.
yes.
Another E. Let's see. An eggplant.
Oh, that's a good one.
Nice. That's a good one.
We had some K words coming through. Ketchup,
Oh,
You guys are really healthy. I would have said enchiladas for eating.
kale.
oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
It is lunchtime.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us for Second Saturday. Next month on December 12th will be our next Second Saturday, and it's going to be all about celebrations. So we're really hoping that you can join us for that program. And then I just want to say to be safe, stay at home, and take care of yourselves. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and hope to see you in December. So bye, everyone.
Everyone.
Take care.